The verse of the day is Galatians 6:15 through 16, and it says, "It doesn't matter whether we have been circumcised or not. What counts is whether we have been transformed into a new creation. May God's peace and mercy be upon all who live by this principle. They are the new people of God." Happy last day of the February challenge, everyone. And the last verse of Galatians, I don't know about you, but I've loved getting really deep into Galatians because it's such a small book. There's only 6 chapters. So I feel like it's easy to breeze through without really being intentional about the depth that it has to offer. So I've been loving it. But let's get into the verse of today. To give a little backstory of circumcision, in the olden days, it was an outward covenant between God and the Jewish people. So it was something that God commanded them to do in order to have a new covenant with God. That's just one example of how before Jesus came, there were a lot of things that they had to do in order to be in right standing with God. And when Jesus came, he became the new covenant. He became the only thing that you needed in order to be in right standing with God. And so in today's verse, Paul is just reiterating what he's been reiterating throughout the whole book. And that is that it doesn't matter if you've been circumcised or not, because in those days, because God commanded it, it was something they all did and knew that they had to do. Now that Jesus came, he accomplished everything that needed to be done in order to be in right standing with God. So Paul's saying you don't need to do that in order to be loved and accepted and chosen and in right standing. All that counts is whether we have been transformed into a new creation. I love that statement, and it's kind of why I chose it to be the last verse, because that's what happens. When you follow Jesus and you accept him into your heart, you become a new creation. We're constantly becoming a new creation. You don't ever make it. It's not like you believe in Jesus, you get all this freedom, and you're a perfect little floating vessel forever. You get a ton of freedom, and you become the best version of you, but that doesn't come with so many hard days, because it's in the hard days that you see your need for God, and you see God's power show up. And so it's just a testament to all you need to do is put God first and believe in Jesus and develop relationship. And it's through that you will become a new creation, that you will gain new freedom. You will have more peace. You will have the fruit of the Spirit. We talked a lot about the fruit of the Spirit, what it looks like to listen to the voice of the devil versus the Spirit of God. And the more you develop relationship and the more you accept his unconditional love, the more you're not going to look to your works or your performance as a means to be loved by God, as an open door or a way that you feel finally accepted to be loved by God, but you get to experience that love first. I think about when I first accepted Jesus into my heart, I didn't do anything. He was just there revealing himself to me at my worst. And it was through experiencing his love and him piecing my heart back together and just feeling the Holy Spirit change me from the inside out that my love for him grew. And once my love for him started to grow, my actions started to change. How I thought started to change. How I perceived life changed. How I was getting my needs met changed. You get so much clarity and your eyes start to open, your ears open to really what it means and looks like to follow God and who he is and how he can meet your needs and how he can literally walk with you in life. I just love that sentence. What counts is whether we have been transformed into a new creation, because it just shows that it's not on you. You becoming a new creation isn't your job. Once you accept Jesus into your heart and you gain access to the Holy Spirit, it's God that's going to be the one that transforms you. It's not in our strength. And so the transformation that happens is just dependent on you wanting it and you wanting Jesus, right? You wanting to do life with God. Because once you give God your heart and you want to follow him and you spend time with him and you develop relationship, your transformation is already, it's en route. It's happening. Every day you're going to have transformation, whether you feel it or not, whether you feel strong or not. Even in your weak days, that's when the most transformation happens, because in our weakness, we feel less than, or we feel this tension that God actually uses to strengthen your relationship with him. He uses all of our weak spots for good, because that's how God can show up and remind you who he is and remind you who you are. And those moments of tension become little examples of where you used to be, because you continue to grow and progress, right? So you have a grid to look back on and be like, wow, yeah, that's where I used to be. I know where I used to be, and I know where I am today. God is so good. He's done so much in my life. And those little moments remind you that God is still moving when you don't feel like it, and remind you that you really have come really far when you slip into old behaviors. The last sentence says, may God's peace and mercy be upon all who live by this principle. They are the new people of God. That's what happens when you accept Jesus into your heart and you want to follow his lead, and you die to your life and you follow God's way. You gain peace, you gain mercy. And that's how you have never-ending forgiveness, no matter how many times you fall. That's why you're able to have peace when your circumstances do not make sense. That's why you're able to feel whole when you have people that leave your life, or when you have people that pass away. God is able to fill that void in our heart. It's not instant, and it's a process, but eventually God can make you feel whole again. He can give you that peace. He gives you that mercy where you're able to forgive yourself and move forward, and you become new people. You become a new person. I just want to remind anyone, if you want to be a new person, if you want to get rid of certain behaviors, or you want peace and mercy, and you want to become that new transformed version, it's available to you. It's available to everyone. And all you have to do is give God an opportunity. All you have to do is make space for him and admit your faults, right? Admit your weaknesses. Admit that you do need God, because we all do. We have a thing in us that needs him. He is love, and we crave love, right? So it's getting to a point of like, Lord, I want to get to know you, and starting there and cultivating that relationship, and not putting pressure on it. Because if you give God your heart and you're just open to receive, he's going to show you who he is. He's going to remind you who you are. And it's just going to be the beginning of a beautiful journey of you becoming a new creation, a new person, you dying to old behaviors, you figuring out new layers of who you are, you stepping into confidence, you owning your gifting that you were created to thrive in. It just becomes a beautiful journey. And there's never going to be a moment where we don't have struggle anymore. That's just not possible. We always have an opportunity to be new, to start over, to change our behaviors and our habits, and to step into joy and peace and love. It's always available, and you are never stuck where you are. So give God a chance, and peace will be en route. Joy, mercy, grace, forgiveness, all the things. If you are new here, the March challenge starts on Monday. For the next couple days, we have a break. I would challenge you to just choose your own verse and do some practice days, but we'll be back on Monday. We're doing the book of Mark, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. So see you Monday.